The Polar Express is one of the most classic Christmas movies of all time. It's an unforgettable tale about a kid who wakes up one night and sees a train outside his home, and he says, I'm gonna go leave and go inside that random ass train. And then the conductor comes out and he says, where in the is your ticket? And the kid says, I don't have one. So he is given a ticket and goes on an adventure in this train with other kids to see Santa Claus. It's a wonderful story that is much less wonderful in the game for PS2 and GameCube. That version of the story is terrifying and very weird, and today I'm going to boot up a copy of the game and explain it all to you. So we start up the game and the intro begins with the Scrooge puppet angrily looking at all the kids because he's pissed that kids love Santa Claus. Because his logic is that toys make Christmas special, not Santa Claus, and although I get his logic, it's very flawed. Because if I said I love pizza, but not the guy making the pizza, then I get no pizza, because no one's making it. Pizza cannot exist without the pizza man, just like toys cannot exist without Santa Claus. So far, one big L for Scrooge. Anyway, Scrooge is complaining about that, and his plan to get the kids to not believe in Santa is to stop them from reaching the North Pole. And in order to do that, he steals their tickets, because you gotta have your ticket to ride the Polar Express. That's just the rules, or else the train conductor is gonna kick your ass off the train, leave you for the wolves. So Scrooge steals a bunch of tickets and hides them around the train, and the conductor comes around and starts telling everyone to get ready to show their tickets. And the kids realize, oh shit, some of us are missing our tickets, so now it is your job to help them find them. Now before we continue, I'm trying to figure out, how did Scrooge get these tickets? There is no way he walked up behind the kids and grabbed it out of their pocket. And then all the kids that noticed are just like, oh shit, there's a totally normal giant alive Scrooge puppet that we have no issue with existing at all. There's no way a kid didn't notice him and yell, what is that? What the fuck is that? Was bro just hanging off his puppet strings like Spider-Man taking these tickets? I can't imagine a single scenario where a giant puppet is just grabbing tickets from children. But whatever, the story has to progress somehow. So it's on you to find all the missing tickets, and this is where the game basically becomes a horror game. So the cutscene ends and you finally have control over your character, and as you start going between train cars, you come across Scrooge just being scary as fuck, and a ton of puppets and jack-in-the-boxes that are threatening you. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to this.
Let me out. I'm going to get you.
That is the scariest shit I've ever heard. Okay, how is this kid just fine with it? If that was me walking in that room, not only would I give up looking for the tickets, I would jump off the train because I would rather die than try to cross a room of sentient evil toys that are yelling, I'm going to get you and let me out. And let me out is even scarier because who the fuck is saying let me out? The jack-in-the-box? He's trapped in his own body? That is fucking terrifying. Anyway, so the kid is clearly somehow not scared, and you just have to proceed walking past all these demons, collecting coins along the way, and then you get to the next car, which is completely dark, and the kid in there is too afraid to search around. And for good reason. This is not a situation where you should be running around like it's fine without an ounce of fear in your heart. This is scary. But he tells you that a jack-in-the-box has his ticket and won't give it back. And your character tells him that if you guys are in there together, it won't be as scary. Which I don't know if I agree with. I don't know if two kids can fight off a jack-in-the-box together, but I guess it's better than being alone. So now you have to walk through the car, and after checking a few of the boxes, the kid runs away, because of course that's a normal response to being in a room filled with Japanese forest-style puppets, but you gotta go up to him and comfort him. Eventually, after talking for a bit, he's chill again, and you go back to opening boxes until you get the ticket. And after the ticket, there's a little motivational speech.
You found my ticket!
No, we found it together. I couldn't have done it without your help.
Bro, he didn't do shit. I did everything. I know you want him to feel better, but he barely even pointed the light correctly. Anyone's dad would have fucking yelled at him. But whatever, we got one ticket down and however many more left to go. So we move on to the next car, which luckily is a lot less scary and a lot more fun. There's a bunch of soccer balls on the floor and you gotta walk up to each one and kick them onto each of the puppets to knock them down, and then kick it a second time to close the lid of whatever the hell they're inside of. And I'm not sure why you even have to do that, because they're not attacking you. The only time they ever attack is if you kick a soccer ball inside, then they throw it back at you, which is just self-defense. They should do that. So aside from that, they're just chilling and you're just attacking these totally harmless puppets. But whatever, we lock them up and we move on to the next car, where you just see Scrooge posted up in the back. Bro, what is that stance? Why are you standing like that, Scrooge? It's weird. I don't like it. Anyway, this minigame is a food fight, and you gotta knock out all the puppets with cake, And honestly, this was surprisingly hard. I even died at one point. How do you die to cake? Eventually though, I got the rhythm of it down and I killed all those puppets and I was able to move on to the first boss battle where you fight Scrooge. And let's take a moment to look at how fucking big Scrooge is. This dude is gigantic. This little kid is just fighting this giant puppet with no fear at all? Are you insane? There is no way that is not scary at all to a child. I don't care how brave you think you are, that is scary. But he doesn't care, it's fine to him, he just fights him like it's nothing. So to defeat Scrooge, you're basically doing the soccer minigame again. After a few kicks in the head, he dies and he just rots in the trash can, I guess. But even though we killed Scrooge, we're not done yet, because we still need to find the rest of the tickets. So we move on to the next car, which might be the weirdest one yet. You walk inside to Inspector Gadget with a tennis racket, and he challenges you to a game of tennis, and if you beat him, you get to pass, which is one of the most random ass bridge troll things I've ever seen. The other minigames made sense. You gotta kill the puppets so they don't attack you and you can keep going, but in this one you're just trying to see who the better tennis player is. So I played tennis with him, and I started to realize this guy is just lonely. He's the only Jack-in-the-Box so far that's just by himself with no other boxes to hang out with. He has no friends, no one to talk to, so he just challenges kids to tennis all day, and it's really sad. It's like the old guy at the park that's shooting threes by himself, and you know he wants to play with you and your middle school friends, but you'd break his ankles in a second, and it's also kind of creepy. So I played tennis with Inspector Gadget for a little bit and entertained him, and eventually I won. And then I ran up to his box and I stood on it for a few moments to assert my dominance. It's the ultimate power move and it made me feel good, but we still gotta get more tickets. So then I ran into AsianKid.jpg. Bro, I don't know who made the texture for this kid, but it just looks so racist. I don't know how to explain it, and I'm not Asian, but something about the way they modeled this character just feels racist. I don't know why, but the kid's ticket is in the kitchen and you can't just grab it and leave because the cook is angry. He's pissed. He's angry because you threw all that cake earlier fighting those puppets and now he has to remake a bunch of that food. Look how angry he is stirring that pot. Bro is mad. So because he's mad, you gotta go stealth mission mode and sneak around him without getting caught, cause I guess he's so mad he's ready to take out his frustration on a child. First kid he sees, he's gonna RKO their ass. But for reference, I want you guys to hear how angry he is, how pissed you made this cook.
Is somebody there? It was probably done. Back to cooking.
I was shaking in my boots hearing him raise his voice like that, but I was brave enough to run past him, grab the ticket, and as I was sneaking back, bro was even more mad.
I think this needs more sugar.
But you give the kid his ticket, he does a little Super Mario Star Collect emote, and you move on to helping a sad little girl. The girl is sad because the car is filled with rats, and you gotta get rid of them for her, so you start running through the train car and you slam your face onto the floor to grab them. This dude refuses to just bend down and grab it. He has to be dramatic, so he's fucking lunging across the floor, giving himself head trauma just to get these toy rats. And after slamming my skull onto the hardwood floors enough times and throwing the rats in the bin, I got rid of them all, and you go back to the girl and you explain to her,
You'll never believe it, but those mice were only wind-up toys.
yeah, no shit, they literally have wheels and a big ass gear key on their back. What real life mouse has that? But whatever, after that you move on to one of the most annoying cars yet. This car has a slippery floor with blocks of ice, and you have to break open the blocks with whatever this punching device is. But the issue is that every time you break a block of ice, it splits into smaller pieces and they hurt you. How is this kid taking damage from a small piece of ice? How? I literally died from a slow sliding ice cube. It's so dumb. But after my second try, I finally got the ticket. Then I moved on to the next car, which was pretty much just throwing stuffed animals at the boxes until they die. Pretty simple stuff. But now, you move on to the most brutal minigame yet. For whatever reason, I don't know why, you are handed this giant King Dedede hammer. And your job is to take this hammer and fucking demolish the Jack-in-the-Boxes. Send them back inside to hell and keep hammering until they die. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Jack-in-the-Boxes. They're obviously trying to attack me, but this just seems cruel to me. I think putting them back inside is fine already. There's no need to keep going until they're killed, but that was the child's choice. Who am I to deny him that? So after brutally murdering all the Jack-in-the-Boxes, Scrooge is apparently alive again. I thought we killed him earlier, but I guess he survived, and now he has the last ticket you're looking for and decides to hide it where no one will ever find it, the air vent. And that last ticket was the girl's ticket, and since she doesn't have it anymore, she's taken away to be thrown off the train, and you have to chase after her and give it to her so that she's not kicked off of the Polar Express. So you follow her and the conductor to the top of the train and run across the top, dodging obstacles and holding onto the side of the train like you're fucking Nathan Drake in Uncharted. No child should have the upper body strength to be able to hold onto a moving train with just their fingers. That somehow might be the most unrealistic part of this game so far. And this level is so long. I hated it so much because it felt like it was going on forever. Whenever I thought I was like 1 or 2 train cars away from the light, I wasn't even close. Bro, I was running across this train for so long, I thought I was doing something wrong. But I wasn't. It was just insanely long for no reason other than for them to increase the playtime of the game. And the worst part is that I lost at one point and had to do it all over again. So the entirety of this level took me 11 minutes. 11 minutes to run across this train. I could have watched an entire episode of Adventure Time for the amount of time that it took me to run across this train. There is no reason that any level like this should last that long. But eventually I beat it and reached the bum on the top of the train, and he tells me that there's no way I'm going to reach the front of the train at this pace, so we need to take the shortcut. And you know what? I believe him, because it took me 11 minutes just to get to this part. It's probably going to take me 3 hours to get to the front. So the shortcut to the front of the train is to leave the train and ski down mountains until we get to the front. And this part also was very long, but it was a lot more fun. I enjoyed skiing and dodging the trees. It kind of felt like I was playing SSX3, and how could you be mad feeling like you're playing SSX3? You just can't. But now I'm starting to think, is running across the train actually slower than taking a completely different route? I kind of feel like he was just using me to relive memories of when he used to ski with his family as a kid, but now they're gone, probably dead, and he's alone, and finally, after years of living on top of a train, surviving solely off of the boiling pot of water over a fire, he now has a friend he could recreate those memories with. Also, here's a cool action shot they did. So I skied for another 11 minutes, and now I'm really starting to think that this wasn't really a shortcut at all. This did not need to be this long either. Granted, I lost at one point because I fell a lot in the first run, but still, didn't need to be that long, even if it was fun. How long do you expect me to ski for? Because at this point, I might as well have been playing the story mode of We Ski. I could have been out there rescuing fallen skiers, but instead I was dodging a million trees. Eventually though, you reach the front of the train and jump inside of it, and then you are greeted by everyone's favorite duo, Atlas and Peabody, and they need your help in fixing the train. So now you have to grab all the train parts and avoid the hot coals, because hot coals kill you obviously, you shouldn't fucking touch those. And you're supposed to give the green ones to the tall guy and the blue ones to the short guy, and that was all well and good at first, but after a certain point they just started rejecting every single thing I gave them, and I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? Am I giving them the wrong thing? I literally tried giving them every single item, and they were just like, nope, that's not what I need, and I felt like I was going insane. I couldn't figure out what the fuck they wanted. What did they want from me? But then I restarted the game, and they started accepting everything, so I guess it was just a glitch. But the ultimate glitch was this next part. After you give them everything, it's time to dance. You have to do a dance to shovel the coals, and basically you follow what they do. Up, down, left, right. Simple, right? It was not simple. Guys, I was fucking losing my mind. I was going up, I was going down, I was even going left and right. But no matter what I did, my character did not follow along. Now, one issue I noticed was that my game was kind of broken. I looked up gameplay of that level and there's supposed to be like a little follow along thing, but my copy didn't have that. So I was like, okay, I think I can still get through this without actually seeing when I'm supposed to click the right button. But no matter how many times I tried, I could not get it. I just kept losing. So I restarted the game, hoping it would solve my issue like it did for the previous minigame, but it didn't work. So I restarted again, still didn't work. And at this point, after losing so many times, even though I know I'm pressing the right button, I really just had two options. Option one was to quit. I quit the game here and the video ends. But I didn't want to quit. So I went with option 2, which was to delete my save file and completely restart because something was clearly corrupted, and hopefully if I did a fresh restart it would be fixed. So that's what I did, and I played the entire game up to that point over again. I went through every fucking minigame and level that I hated a second time, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. And while I was replaying everything, I kind of realized that this would be a pretty fun game to speedrun. I'm not a speedrunner at all, but I think I would enjoy speedrunning the Polar Express. According to speedrun.com, the fastest any percent speedrun of it is 47 minutes and 13 seconds, which is honestly higher than I thought it would be, but then I remembered how long the skiing and train running part is, so that makes sense. But eventually, after spending all that time going through the game again, I made it back to the dance part, and the bar that was missing that shows you which button to press and when was still not showing up. And now I was kind of ready to quit the game until I realized, oh my god, I'm an idiot. This entire time, I was using the joystick for the controls. Not once did I think to try the D-pad. I'm actually stupid. My brain doesn't work. And surely enough, once I pressed up on the D-pad, bro went up. This entire time, all I had to do was press the fucking D-pad. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I have a tiny brain, I know. I'm stupid. This is a mistake that a 5-year-old would make. And I can promise you, I am much older than 5 years old. But it's fine, because now I'm dancing and shoveling coals, and everything is all right in the world. We can finally get through this level, and after dancing long enough, you finally get to give the girl her ticket. So after she gets her ticket, we got a couple filler mini games we gotta do. First one is some more throwing stuffed animals. Then you gotta do a little puzzle where you push boxes to make a path for her to get through. But it's kind of annoying because there has to be an object on the opposite side of where you want her to go so she can push off of it. But eventually, after some time, I got her through the puzzle. Then we gotta do the mouse game again. They're obviously just trying to reuse as much stuff as possible so the game lasts longer. But after the mouse part, we get to the scariest part of the Polar Express. Scrooge is now giant. We are in an actual boss battle. He is not only at least 10 times the size of you, but he has also destroyed half of the train. And somehow, the kids are just like chill with it. And honestly, after all the other shit they went through, it kind of makes sense. But still, this dude is massive and scary. How are you not even like a tiny bit scared? So in order to defeat Scrooge, you need to grab snowballs, avoid him slamming his fists on the ground and jumping over like the little earthquake it makes. And then you throw the snowballs at his mouth, and that like stuns him for a little bit and exposes his heart. And then you gotta throw a second snowball at his heart to deal damage. And I also want to mention, while this is all going on, all the other kids aren't doing shit. I see that they're throwing snowballs too, but look at their throws. They're not even trying to hit him. They're barely trying at all. Eventually though, after enough snowballs to his heart, he dies. Scrooge is dead as you stand there stoically in front of him. Then the conductor walks in and he says,
"Would you children care to join us in the dining car? It's time we had some refreshments."
Bro, are you serious right now? Do you not see that half the train is missing? And you just walked in like it's expected, asking if I want hot chocolate? Well, I mean, I do want hot chocolate. For the famous hot chocolate part, you dance again. You help the waiter serve the food and the drinks, and it's a fun little dancing minigame to take your mind off the previous murder you just committed, and it's great. Everyone gets their hot cocoa, and you're a hero. But we gotta move on from the dancing and get back to work again. Now you are put in a flying train car that lands, and you need to control it. You need to control it down a massive hill, avoiding these giant potholes that are so big, collect coins, go down the right track, avoid the other vehicles. Sometimes, if you can, you're not going to get all of them, but you do that until you get to the BioShock level, where you're put inside one of those tubes they use at the bank that gets sucked up and shot around pipes. You're controlling that thing, and you got to hit the colors that match up on your dashboard. Pretty easy minigame. Then you get to the puzzle level where you're put on the present sorting conveyor belt, and you have to go through the conveyor belts and pull the right levers in order for you to proceed to the next part. And this level wasn't that bad, but it was just kind of annoying. I think I just don't enjoy puzzles like this. I feel like they're not that fun, and they're just added to games to extend the time it takes to finish. Because for 90% of this, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just standing on the conveyor belt, waiting to reach the next lever. It's just a waiting game basically, but eventually I pulled all the right levers and we moved on to Santa's giant sack of presents. And you get to play this little platformer level. You gotta jump on top of presents, swing across ribbons, avoid the evil sentient presents that are trying to kill you. I don't know if there's like a pogo stick inside those presents that is going ape shit, or if Santa just has like guard presents in his sack that tries to kill kids, but you gotta avoid these jumping presents or else you die. Doesn't seem logical to me, but I guess some presents are good and some presents are evil. Now, this is basically the end of the game, and after going through the tubes and conveyor belts, you get to meet none other than Pop of Snap, Crackle, and Pop fame. and he tells you that this vehicle you're in right now has to be flown by someone, and you're the one that has to fly it to Santa. The thing is though, why isn't anyone else able to fly it? Who the fuck was gonna originally fly this plane? No one? This dude was just ready to risk it all and crash in this thing and die? He's like, yeah, thank God you came because this was about to be the Christmas 9/11. I don't understand what his logic was here, but whatever, I gotta fly this thing, it's fine. So you gotta fly it around bridges and homes and hot air balloons, making sure to keep the presents safe. Then you got these narrow parts where you gotta thread the needle of the sack through it. Unfortunately, I did hit some stuff and I had to restart, but keep in mind that I am a child flying this thing. I have no experience. Someone else should have been controlling this thing the entire time. It's not my fault. Eventually though, after flying for 8 minutes, we reach the fireworks that are shooting in celebration of the presents arriving. You go past the final bridge and reach your destination, the present landing area with the giant Christmas tree and all the elves waiting for you, excited for these presents to reach every kid on Christmas. And then a little cutscene plays and the girl says,
Look, we're almost there.
and then the game ends. Credits roll and that's it. That was the Polar Express. Very disappointing ending. I don't even get to do a mini game where like I gotta shake the bell, go up, up, down, down with it. I just fly the Zeppelin and it's over. Awful ending, 0 out of 10, but that was the Polar Express. A very frightening game about kids who have no fear and can fly planes and control trains like it's nothing. That is somewhat enjoyable. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've ever played the Polar Express, let me know in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts on it. If you liked the game growing up, if you hated it, please let me know. But as always, have a great fucking day.